The human brain does not contain a single, quote, God spot, unquote, responsible for mystical and religious experiences, a new study finds. Instead, the sense of union with God or something greater than the self, often described by those who have undergone such experiences, involves the recruitment and activation of a variety of brain regions normally implicated in different functions such as self-consciousness, emotion, and body representation. The finding, detailed in the current issue of Neuroscience Letters, contradicts previous suggestions by other researchers that there might be a specific region in the brain designed for communication with God. The main goal of the study was to identify the neural correlates of a mystical experience, said study leader Mario Beauregard of the University of Montreal in Canada. This does not diminish the meaning and value of such an experience, and neither does it confirm or disconfirm the existence of God. In the study, 15 cloistered Carmelite nuns, ranging in age from 23 to 64, had their brains scanned while asked to relive the most intense mystical experience they had ever had as members of the religious order.
Dave, this reminds me of Dr. Herbert Benson. Remember, he was going to, he and others,
Harvard Medical
School. They're going to zero in on where these experiences come from and how they work within the physical makeup of man. Is there any point to any of this? Any value?
Well, Tom, I can tell you, contrary to what this article says, the first experiences, they would put an electric current in a particular kind, all these experiments, and then it can activate a memory. It could cause, so the whole idea was to show that we are just protein molecules wired with nerves. This is materialism, and it's all in the brain, which is a physical organism.
Right. We're not talking about the mind. We're talking about the brain.
That's right. But we can quote Sir John Eccles, Nobel Prize winner for his research on the brain. We can quote surgeons and so forth who say that the brain is like a computer programmed by something independent of itself, the mind. That the brain doesn't run man. Man runs the brain. And in fact, Eccles, Nobel Prize winner, he found a place that he called the supplementary motor area, SMA, where he said the spirit of man that runs the brain must make contact because that was what began first. No matter what a person did, that is where it all begins.
So this has to be a non-physical side of man.
Well, Tom, exactly. Experience of worship or awe or a sense of fulfillment, these are not physical things. They certainly couldn't be developed by evolution. These are non-physical, but why then do we have to use a brain? Because we have a body. You can't say that sense of right and wrong or purpose and meaning is explicable in terms of protein molecules and chemical reactions in the brain. That's nonsense. So what is the point of this, what you began with saying? What is the point of this? To find out, what if somebody slams me in the face and I feel pain, well, what is the point? Well, we're going to research this, and now what part of the brain does that activate? It's ridiculous. Now, if they want to use this for some medical reasons and maybe try to drug a person so they don't feel the pain, I don't know, Tom. But now we are beyond that. We're talking about what they call mystical experiences.
Right.
They claim it's the experience of God, some experience with God, and God is not in the brain. And it's to no purpose at all to try to track this in the brain because the brain is not where it originates.
And as I mentioned, Dr. Herbert Benson, who did he study? He studied Tibetan monks. This group is studying 15 cloistered Carmelite nuns. Cloistered used to mean, as my former Catholic days, they took a vow of silence. They were isolated from the world, and they were there like the Catholic mystics, the so-called Desert Fathers. They were there to generate these mystical experiences and so on.
I think you'd really have some mystical experiences if you couldn't talk and you're all by yourself. You'd probably have plenty of experiences, but they wouldn't come from God. Well, let's say they don't come from God because you keep silent and you're locked up or whatever.
Yeah, or try to fine-tune yourself to...
If God is going to speak to you, he'll speak to you. I don't read that Jeremiah or Ezekiel, any of these people through whom God spoke, they ever went through any particular procedure to get God to speak to them.
Dave, that reminds me of William James. I guess he would be considered by many as the father of American psychology. Yeah. But he wrote and studied mystical experiences, and he found that whatever the group might be, that there was a commonality between groups in terms of altered states of consciousness, in terms of things that they felt or became aware of, and so on. But there was no distinguishing factor between a biblical experience and a non-biblical experience.
As far as the brain is concerned, or the psychology is concerned. Right. But Tom, we better clarify it quickly, because the brain is Sir John Eccles said the brain is a machine that a ghost can operate. And in the normal state of consciousness, we operate our brains, our spirit operates it. But in an altered state, you get into this meditative state or whatever, under hypnosis, which psychiatrists use today, you have loosened the normal connection between your spirit and the brain, and that allows another spirit to interpose itself and tick off the neurons in the brain, create all kinds of illusions. And so that's what they're dealing with, not aware that these are illusions created by demonic entities.
For more information about the Berean call, call us toll-free at our order number or visit our website